Now, I came across an article recently that talked about being the Chief Wellbeing Officer of your own life. And I found that quite fascinating. And this article was written by Jen Fisher, who happens to be the Chief Wellbeing Officer at Deloitte. But then I sat down and I thought about it. How many of us are actually serving as the Chief Wellbeing Officer of our own lives? We care so much about other people around us, especially if you work in departments like human resources, or you're the CEO of an organization, or you work in the clinic or whatever. You are so concerned about other people that you pay less attention to yourself. So what exactly is well-being to start with? So well-being means taking a holistic approach, focusing on body, mind, and purpose, and financial health. The truth is that although we generally know that we should be taking care of ourselves, we often don't do it. And that's because we are not strategic and we are not intentional about it. But you see, the problem is that at the pace at which our modern lives are, days come and go, and before you say Jack Robinson, the day has ended. Our tendency to take care of ourselves above everything else becomes very, very slim. Daily stress can become chronic stress, and before you know what's happening, it can lead to burnout. But you see, your path to realizing you need to nurture your well-being, your own well-being, doesn't have to involve burning out first. And so you need to create a key that is intentional, that forces you or helps you to be intentional about your well-being, and put it that way, and that's going to help you to actually pay attention to your well-being. And so no matter your position, as long as you have to lead people, you probably serve as the well-being officer for the team that you lead or the organization that you lead. But how do you then set yourself up to be your own chief well-being officer while you also serve as the well-being officer for that of others? I'm going to share a few points with you, and I hope that you find them helpful. Hello there, and thanks for joining me on this particular episode, the Rising Heroes podcast. Now, one of the things that you need to do is that you need to set priorities. You need to first of all set priorities. Now, the first thing to realize is that your well-being has to start with you. You can't wait for others to take care of it for you, and you have to be your own oxygen mask. Secure your own oxygen mask first. And so just like every other executive role, you have to set your priorities for your department, for your organization. So you also have to set priorities for yourself, and you need to put that first. I always tell people that the most important person in your life and the things about you is you first, because when you are able to sort yourself out, then you're able to sort out other people as well. You also need to realize that well-being means something different for everybody. So what does well-being mean to you? So setting your priorities right will help you, take care of your own self-care. So think about it. What exactly does well-being mean to you? What do you want to work on, and what do you want to enjoy? Now, the next thing to consider is involving others, right? So you can't do everything all by yourself. You might have to set up a team. And setting up a team allows you to actually have other people work with you, focus on other things while you get other things done. And it helps you achieve your goals as well. And so if you have a team and one person needs to leave early, another person can cover up for that person, you just need to structure it. So have people state their goals, right? Encourage them to set and share their goals with each other. You share yours as well, and this helps each and every one of you to work hand in hand and better the well-being of other people while also helping your own well-being. Number 3, schedule it. Now, the moment you begin to hear comments like, I don't have time to take care of myself, look, I tell people that you won't have that time now. But when sickness comes, or should sickness surface, should any form of illness whatsoever surface, you will have to look for that time. So you can as well schedule the time now that you feel healthy or that you feel good with your health. So use your calendar, your technology to schedule time for self-care, like you will do for your important meetings. And then create a time called a mean time from other things that is just about you, spending time with yourself. Now, when you spend time with yourself, it allows you to discover yourself. It allows you to know what your strengths are. It allows you to know what you enjoy doing. You won't realize this all by just being in the faces of people or having people in your space. Next, I would like to share with you is to allow for failure. Yes, failure can exist. So allow for failure. And when failures exist, realize that it's another way for you to move forward, because it just means that there is something to learn that you haven't learned. So prioritizing your well-being sometimes looks like taking 2 steps forward and 1 step backward, then another step forward. And that's okay. Just think about how you can learn from each experience and then move on. And I'm going to talk about revisiting your well-being goals regularly. So set goals, like I said, the same way you set business goals, set goals for your well-being and revisit them regularly. Revisit them to see if you're meeting up with your goals or if you're falling behind. And this also helps you to know what next step you need to take or to praise yourself for progressing. So you ask questions like, have your goals changed? Are they still aligned with what you want, what you value in life? When you fail, right, figure it out and fix it. When you succeed, celebrate it and move next to the next phase. I'm going to wrap up by sharing the next point that talks about finding joy and giving thanks. Now, this has nothing to do with your religious belief or your religious background. One of the biggest lessons that you have to learn in life is that nothing can actually replace joy. The value of finding joy every day is priceless. You don't want to become so scheduled that you don't have time and space for things that give you joy. So bring the power of gratitude into your life. Express this gratitude to those who support you, or even just giving thanks for the small blessings in your life, which will help you lower stress. Improve your well-being and make yourself more joyful. In one of my videos, I talked about finding joy even when there is chaos. You need to look for how to find joy in the midst of all this. So your duties as a Chief Wellbeing Officer in your life is unique to you, but it's important that you take charge of it. It's important that you take responsibility for it. And the moment you're able to do that with yourself, for yourself, and by yourself, you will be able to do it for others as well. So see it as a priority today to serve as a Chief Wellbeing Officer of your own life. And in the event that you're having difficulty setting that up, and you need help or you need to talk to someone, do not hesitate to reach out. So thank you very much for listening to today's episode of the Rising Heroes podcast. Like I always say, your support is needed to create more episodes and to record properly. So please do donate if you can, or do reach out if you want to. This is deeply appreciated, and you will be deeply appreciated and recognized. Till I come your way again, be your very best. Keep rising. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us on this episode. Hope you learned something new. Do join us next time. For inquiries, speaking requests, and much more, please send an email to toluse@tolusefrancis.com. See you next time on the Rising Heroes podcast.